Heads and Tails in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it. Welcome to yet another episode of this podcast that we love so much, that you guys love so much. I'm your host with the most, Brian Black, and as always, I don't roll solo. I've got the team. DJ Wax is in the building. Say Wax.
Away, Bruno, who's it?
What's with the voice now, Papa?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm trying to be a radio guy lately.
I feel that. Rastaman, what's up, Zwell Kid? Yeah, man, yeah. The team is here in full effect, man. Like I said, we are back and we're just reeling off a lot of the events that we've been attending and the love that we've been getting from all the guys that we've been meeting at these events. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the input and the suggestions that you have about the show, and trust me, we want to implement each and every one of those that will make this episode and this podcast even better.
Yeah,
right?
Without a doubt. Shout outs, man, to everyone that we meet out there who always come to us and talk to us about the show. We appreciate your input. Love you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
sounded like you're starting a motorbike right there. Yeah.
Man,
No, we appreciate the love, man. I was just saying to the people, man, every time you see us, feel free to come holler at us and say, hey, yo, you guys, look, we love your show. This is what you can do better. And this is who you can bring to the show so we can talk to. These are my favorite DJs and whatever. Yeah, no, we appreciate
some we can get, some we can't get, right? Yeah. And I think we need to be open about that. There are guests that we can get, some of them we cannot. They either can't make it because of time, and some just are not the type that would want to sit behind or in front of my camera and do a podcast.
Yeah, they
don't
want to be in front of camera.
So we respect that and we move along, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Anyway,
last episode, let's touch on that quickly,
right?
Yeah, that was a really cool episode.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know, everywhere I go, everyone wants to talk about China. Like, yo, China, man. China did this, man. China said this, man. So, love and shout out to my boy DJ China, you know. Our guest today hails all the way from Pretoria, right?
Mahlanyeng.
Yeah. This man has been at it for a long time, and I was actually, you know, I can't believe I've known him for so long. And we've been chatting. I chat to him on a regular, and at some point, I remember I'll remind him of this incident when we drove from Truth to but yeah, maybe we'll talk about that one. Yeah. Hails all the way from Pretoria. He's a businessman, he's a husband, he's a father, he's a DJ, he's a producer, and overall nice guy, and he's such a G, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present to you the one, the only, Sisco Umlambo in the building. What's up, my G?
Hey, brother.
How are you?
Good, man.
You good?
All good, brother.
Welcome,
Good, man. Welcome to Heads and Tails,
Thank you,
bro.
man.
You know?
Thank you.
We've been chatting about this for quite a while.
Yeah,
we've been at it on WhatsApps like, yo, dude,
forever, man.
But now we're here, right?
Yeah.
We're here, and I'm so glad, man, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I know you're busy, especially, you know, in the weekends, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, bro, let's on your way here, what were you listening to?
On my way, the podcast Free Range.
Right. Oh, with
Either with Jimster. And Matthew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Anything in particular that you picked up from that you liked?
Not really. I didn't take note of the playlist. I was
Okay.
just listening at the time.
Is it?
Yeah.
But sounding good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always trying to listen out for the newest stuff coming out.
Right. But is that what you normally play in your car when you're driving around, or what do you normally listen to when you're just driving?
It depends what I'm in the mood for, man.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be listening to talk radio.
Yeah.
I'd like to get in depth of how the people out there.
Yeah.
You know,
What's happening in the
get
world?
a sense of the ground. The talk radio I listen to, basically, they speak to the people on the ground.
Yeah.
Calls coming in and stuff. So,
yeah. And it's always good to know what the ordinary South African is thinks of the, you know, country and how everything is running, right? Yeah.
My head is embedded in music, but
I
still leave space to try and
be in the world.
Be in the world and what our fellow countrymen are
Yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
especially those on the ground, you know.
Are you an active caller as well, or do you just listen?
No, I mainly just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you get into your feelings, do you ever just feel like, grabbing the phone and calling?
Yeah, I've never really been one to call in. Strangely enough, when I'm listening, there's other DJs that I'm friends with that are calling in. I'm like, hey man.
But it's nice to know that people in the fraternity are also in touch with what's happening in the world. Our world is not just about music, right?
Yeah.
We also want to dab into what is happening in the world, and we also have opinions on how things can be better, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
But today we are here to talk about Sisco Umlambo, the DJ, the producer, the businessman.
Okay.
Right.
Sweet.
First, I want to know, what is up with Umlambo? How did you get the name Cisco? Okay, your real name is Cisco, but how did you get the Umlambo part of it?
The Cisco part comes from Francisco.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My actual second name is Francisco.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
And my surname is Ribeiro.
Yeah.
Which it's from Portuguese descent. Translated means river.
Ah.
So I was back in the early 2000s. I was part of a club called Voodoo Lounge.
Voodoo Lounge.
And the one manager there, he had a sense of the Portuguese lingo and stuff. And he said, that actually means river. And then he started calling me Umlambo.
Okay.
So eventually he told me, no, Umlambo means river.
Ribeiro. Yeah. Okay, and you kind of stuck with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just grew from there. And then you had like Temba calling me Umlambo and Fresh calling me Umlambo and a whole lot of other guys calling me Umlambo, and like, okay, well, just let it
Might
stick.
as well, right?
Yeah.
But did you ever get into a situation where someone didn't know you, they booked Cisco Umlambo and they thought you were a black guy?
Many times,
Yeah.
Especially when I would go play in the Kasi.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like, hey, Umlungu. And I'm like, what? And stuff. I'm like,
Did they say, hey, Umlungu?
yeah. I mean, obviously. So I'm like, yeah. And then they kind of act surprised, and it's, I guess maybe that helped me with bookings as well.
I suppose, right? Yeah.
Promoters wanted this white boy in Kasi to like have something for people to come to their venues, and
he's got the soul as well, right? When he rocks, I like that.
Yeah, so
let's take it back a little bit, Cisco. Were you born and raised in Pretoria?
Yep.
Okay.
Born in Sunnyside.
Yeah.
Grew up in Sunnyside. Well, not in Sunnyside. I mean, moved to the burbs.
Yeah.
Out of the city, and I've been in Pretoria ever since.
Yeah. Spent a lot of your time in Sunnyside or in the burbs?
I was in Central until about possibly age 5, and then my parents moved out to the burbs.
Okay.
And then I mean, obviously went to primary school. That was majority, obviously, in those days.
Yeah.
White school, and then we moved into a Model C school.
Yeah.
And that's where becoming friends in a Model C school. My friends, I was interested in.
It's a multiracial
But I
sort
was
of
interested in the hood and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got into gangster rap and.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
you went to your NWAs of the world and stuff.
Man.
Yeah.
Public Enemy.
Oh, nice,
To
man.
Love Crew and all that stuff. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I mean, at home, was it a home where you played music a lot, or is it just you that kind of branched out and kind of got into music?
My dad was a very social guy. He liked to have friends around him.
Yeah.
And he also had like his vinyl collection. He was into the disco stuff and all the American folk, Cat Stevens.
Yeah.
So I latched onto the disco quite a bit, and it was tradition in our family when my cousins came of age at 18 or 21, we would celebrate with like parties, and it would be a mobile disc jockey there. I was the one who was like checking what's going on and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and that was always my interest, and I was always the one pulling the moves. Or when I was at a wedding, I was always the one drumming on the table with forks and spoons.
Nice. Yeah.
So I was surrounded with that. My cousin had like a little mobile, it was those funny all-in-one turntable mixers,
right.
mobile disco things that I used to play with, and yeah, so that's where I think it took hold. I can't say where exactly, but I mean, I've always had music and that type of thing around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But already at the back of your mind, were you now thinking maybe this is something that I could consider as a career?
I'll tell you an interesting story. I think I was about 12 years old. So like I said, my dad liked being around friends and family and stuff.
Yeah.
He was a very social guy. And we were at New Year's at the Portuguese club.
Yeah.
And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm 12 years old. I'm running around. The night has kept me going.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Sugar rush.
I wasn't. No, not even. I don't know. I'm a night creature.
Oh, okay.
And my dad, like, now my godfather was involved in a nightclub in Pretoria.
Yeah.
Which is quite a popular nightclub. And my dad said he didn't want to go home.
Okay.
Right, let's go to the club. So he's got the kids.
Like
with
your
him.
dad, man. Yeah.
He's got the kids with him. So
Yeah.
he calls up my godfather and he makes special arrangements that we can get into the club and we go to the office so that we can go to the office. We don't have to go directly into the club.
Okay.
And we go in and stuff. And then I somehow sneaked out with I think it was one of my cousins or something. And I sneaked down to the main floor.
Oh, yeah.
And then I saw like the whole vibe. I'm like, jeez. And that's like kind of also like where like I started getting an interest. And then the other one was like going back to my cousin who had that DJ setup and
Yeah.
stuff. I was playing with my younger cousin and I was on this thing and I said, you know what, one day I'm going to be a DJ.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I forgot about that. And my cousin actually reminded me like when I was in my like on my days that we'd get together.
Yeah.
You
So
actually-
you actively told him and he said, I'm going to be a teacher.
Yeah, I didn't remember it, but he told me. So I'm like,
What
the
what
power,
year-
that's the power of
manifestation. maybe?
manifestation.
Yeah, but I
right?
mean, he wasn't manifesting per se.
Yeah.
then, because he even forgot.
But then think about it. No, I mean, I think it's the other way around. The fact that he put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
Hence they say the universe listens, right? He put it out there, not even thinking, and the universe actually answered.
Could it not be because his grandfather had a club already? I mean, that could be within, the family is already in the
Godfather, yeah.
space. The
Suppose,
godfather, yeah.
Maybe you can look at it like that, but I still believe that it was just something that he put out there, and
Yeah.
the universe just said, "Actually, let's respond."
How old were you when that happened?
Where the club I was,
I mean, when you and your cousin were having this chat.
I was also young. I think I was about, jeez, let me just, could be around about between 10 and 14 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, you're right.
Power of manifestation,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
No, I thought this was like when you were babies, like conversation. So I was
No.
confused there.
I was already going into my teens and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So in school, right, you are now you're hanging out with people that are exposing you to other forms of music, and now you're getting into your hip hops and stuff like that. How do you then start thinking to yourself, maybe I should be collecting a lot of this, and maybe I can do something with this music that I have?
Well, it wasn't until after high school actually, because in high school, I was getting into all the rap, the gangster rap and
Yeah.
stuff, and then I had a friend of mine who eventually became my partner, who was actually he was getting into DJing. Funnily enough, in a part of the club that was my godfather's club.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Right?
Things coming back full circle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it wasn't really so. But that space inside that club was belonging to another guy that he got involved with.
Yeah.
And so he was actually the one who kind of. I wouldn't say it was him. There was a lot of factors that played it, but he was like doing all the school socials and stuff. He
Yeah.
was doing the music, and we were mates and everything. So I was slowly getting involved there without the notion of
Wanting
to be the DJ and forgetting what I had said
back
couple of
then,
years
yeah.
ago, you know. Yeah, so and then it's actually once I started actually getting into, I think it was the partying scene.
Yeah.
I started regularly going to clubs from 14 years old.
Well, I suppose if the godfather owns a club,
It wasn't even his club. I would go to other clubs that because those days, some of the clubs in Pretoria, most of the clubs in Pretoria were more commercial clubs. Playing the pop stuff and white music.
Yeah.
So in that space, I was targeting nights that, I could listen to the music that I wanted to. This specific club that this friend of mine from high school used to play in, which became a culture in our school to go there on a Friday night.
Okay.
Between like the higher grades.
Yeah.
It was like a ritual. We'd go there.
What was the name of the club?
It was first called Grandstand, and then it became Nemesis. So the partner I'm speaking about his name is Christos, not the DJ.
Yes.
Christos, the localizer.
Yeah.
And he was playing in a club, so we would go and like they kind of the students that were coming from that school, the bouncers kind of let them in because it was the DJ from that school.
Okay. So because he's the DJ, you kind of like we know him. Okay.
Let these students. So there was like a group of us that used to go from our school to this thing, and there were a lot of days. I mean, my dad, it's like the rebellion story in my family.
Yeah.
I used to actually steal my dad's car, go out with friends and go to the club.
And go clubbing,
I was so hungry for the club. And I mean.
So the music that was being played there, it wasn't house music, right?
No. So going back to why I brought up that little space in that club that was Nemesis Grandstand.
Yeah.
There they played a lot of like the soul groove house stuff.
Yeah.
So it started early in the night. We'd start off with the soul groove stuff and then move into the house stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So in that space, that's where I was moving already towards house, away from like the hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
And also besides that, we were getting our ways of trying to get that time international music from overseas.
So were you also trying to get the music as well, like?
Sometimes we'd have people or family and that going overseas.
Yeah.
And ask them to bring them cassettes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So they bring us cassettes before, and then when it moved over to CDs, we started with the CDs.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd go to the ranks and go buy mix masters.
Yeah.
So
these white kids just going to the rank.
Yeah, man. So it's in itself. It was very. If you take it in those days, it was kind of like, what are these kids doing? That's stupid.
Yeah.
We're going into these spaces that they're not supposed to be in and stuff.
At the time,
at
right?
the time,
Yeah, that's what the music does, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man, music unites.
It will take you everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Yeah.
But
so
then, sorry, Brian.
sorry,
I
yeah,
just
go
wanted
ahead.
to just to go back just
sure.
a bit. Initially when you're growing up, what is it that they wanted you to do at home? Like, what it is that you're supposed to become when you grow
My
up?
parents never boxed me in. My dad, even like, I can remember something very vaguely. He bought me like they used to call them twin decks cassettes.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. That was like a red twin deck cassette, and he encouraged me to music. And even there, if thinking in hindsight now, thinking back, I used to do things on there like recordings. Like I'd have projects at school and then do like a whole stint of recording onto a tape. And
the bug had already bitten you, by
so I mean, I had all these little things. I mean, it's not when I think of it in hindsight, and then I realize, like, but
you kind of, you were meant to be where you are, right?
Yeah,
it was just the energies channeling themselves. Yeah, without you even noticing, right?
Yeah.
How does it then escalate from buying your cassette tapes and your CDs at the taxi ranks and all, to you now starting to collect vinyl?
When was my first vinyl? Okay, so I remember now. As I was saying, so there was this whole scene of me starting to go out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when I left matric, those days, the rave scene was very big.
Yeah.
So I was delving between my friend Christos, who was playing more the black market, if I can say.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Right. That was your clubs out in Pretoria, down in Sunnyside. It was like not Casablanca, what was it? Club Elise,
Elise,
Dreamers. There's all these little places that were popping up.
Yeah.
So I delved between there, and then I'd also delve with my other friends going to raves.
Yeah.
So I was getting a kind of the experience of both worlds.
Yeah.
And going to these raves, there's a lot of obviously abuse of certain things and substances. And,
Yeah.
you go and you get involved in the vibe, and like I started feeling a very big connection with the music, and watching the DJs at these clubs or at these events sort of encourage me and my friends to like just go out and get turntables and then start buying vinyls. Sort of tracking through to House Africa, sort of tracking through to what was there. That time it was mostly only House Africa.
Yeah. Groove Records.
Groove Records, but Groove Records I think had already closed.
Okay.
So it was in that space,
Ever bought from Sugar Tracks?
Yeah, that was like after.
After
So
maybe
there was a
latest.
transition
Yeah.
from it, and there was Groove Records, and then House Africa.
House Africa came into play.
came into play, and then eventually everyone started, like there were these prominent records, generation of record stores that came into play, which that's another that we also got involved in that generational space of vinyl and stuff.
At the time, were there any record stores in Pretoria that you're going to? Because
Oh yeah, there was actually. You reminded me.
Yeah.
There was like DJ Syndicate. And then there was
yeah.
Glenn, I think
Exquisite record.
he'd opened Exquisite, and even House Africa. And then also during the rave scene, there was these. It was weird. The rave scene that time, it was very weird. You actually dressed up weirdly.
Yeah. The shiny pants.
Pants, boots. It was like kind of we were speaking about if I can bring him up, Migs.
Yeah.
The way he dresses up.
Spice Pineapple, right.
That type of
Shout out
like-
to Migs, though.
Yeah, man, shout out to Migs. So it was like very shiny, and so there were these specialized shops that specialized in their clothing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in that clothing, they also had the records.
Like a record
and
store
that's
there, yeah.
Also one of the spaces where I started delving into the record buying. And
Yeah.
stuff. So it was a combination of a lot of things that pushed me in that direction.
So this is close to, it's like late 90s, right? Into the early
mid-90s, I'd
2000s.
say.
Yeah. Mid-90s,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Were you gigging then?
Yeah, we started. Then once we got into the space of collecting, we started an obscure night on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
We approached a place in Sunnyside called Liquid Lounge, and we said like we want to do something on a Tuesday, the quietest night, and we started with a few friends, and then it grew and grew, and then and then from that met up with other people and started doing events and stuff.
But by then, this is after school, right?
Yeah, this is after school.
How does the whole conversation sit with your mom that you are now out there at night and just doing your thing?
I didn't expose them to it.
Yeah.
To come to think of it, they knew I was going out, and
They just didn't know what you were out there doing. Right?
really that much. No, I mean I had in the later years now, I do open up to them and tell them exactly what they're doing, because I think it's fair for them to know what I'm doing.
yeah.
But
20 years later.
I kind of think I wasn't on purpose secretively doing these things, because being from a Portuguese family, parents are very strict. My parents were actually quite liberal, compared to like my grandparents prior to that.
Yeah.
So they were already in like a more of a liberal phase, allowing me to go out more often and stuff. And so they knew I was going out, they knew I was hanging with friends, but they didn't exactly know that all these things I was getting up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you, obviously you're getting paid from these gigs. Probably it wasn't a lot, but
Yeah, I think we're doing it for drinks and stuff.
yeah. But how do you save up to kind of get more music and all that?
I was working as well. So,
okay.
I was fortunate enough and privileged enough that my family had fruit shops and like different businesses. But
Okay.
It's not like your big corporate
Yeah.
businesses and stuff. It was your little neighborhood fruit and veg takeaway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
little stores that I'd work in.
But at least you'd work and get paid from
Get
there.
paid and some of it would go to buying music, others would going to experience the party life.
Yeah, yeah.
Buying substance and stuff.
Yeah, funny enough, I never really spent money on substances. I was always given it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I think, unfortunately for some people, going down that path, you either come out of it
Or you stay
stuck in it. And I was very fortunate to come out of that dark space.
So you move out of this. So now, I mean, the culture is changing as well. Nightlife is becoming big, with the introduction of YFM, and there's things like the Electric Workshop. The scene is becoming big, right?
Yeah.
It's becoming massive.
Yeah.
You then decide to turn this passion into a business.
Yeah.
What was that conversation like? Because, I mean, at the time, it's not like today's times where it's easy to speak to someone that's abroad. Was it a conscious decision that you had with Cresos to say, bro, we need to open up our own record store?
No, yeah, it was actually a whole lot of different steps that came out. What had happened, obviously, I was already getting passionate about the DJing side of it, and my other friends that I used to go to raves with and stuff, we were passionate. We were collecting music, doing the odd little gigs here and there, and smaller events, like very small. And what happened is, there was YFM. Actually, I'm glad you brought up YFM. It started becoming a very big influence because that was like my main source of listening. Whenever I wasn't playing,
to really get into the pulse of what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
And so it was just by chance that me and my mate Christos, that he was it was him, and also not to forget Tani Piche. He was also from our school.
Okay.
So we kind of met up, and Christos was already had this vision of, and kudos to him, he had this vision of doing an event in Kasi, in Sosh,
right,
at TUT. So he was already in the process of building up this event, and we had Tani and his brother and everything, and somehow I got pulled into it and got involved with getting this event going in the right direction. I mean, we'd actually, Christos had invested in sound and stuff, and we kind of, I could say subconsciously started creating like a partnership between all of us.
Yeah.
All four of us. And there was a lot of other people involved. So this actually birthed out of me starting to play in those spaces in Sunnyside that were predominantly black, right? And that's where I started slowly being known as Cisco in that space,
right?
And so we got together in these spaces and started realizing, Chris has had kind of more of the vision of realizing, like, listen, we've always loved this music, right? We just consider black music, right? And we need to expose it also to the other side of the coin, which was looked on the other side of the fence at that time and how are we going to do this? So, like, we started putting events together, firstly, small events, and then we grew up to a major event that basically defined the company that basically is now Multiracial.
Multiracial record.
Yeah. It was an event in Sosh. It was at the TUT, and we call it the YY, because what we had done is we had secured like advertising on YFM and of like done a partnership. So we did and that time they were using Wire.
Yeah.
Going through all the night.
The tagline,
from 6 at night right through to 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
6 to 6 or Wire.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So we put that whole thing together, and YFM was kind of on board in the sense of like pushing it, and we posted the city flat. And what we were trying to do is we were trying to pull the white kids from the burbs,
best of both,
into Kasi, so
hood,
they could experience the vibe and stuff. And we brought a considerable amount. And when we did the YY, it was kind of also we placed it as a bash, as a student bash as well. So we had the numbers and stuff. And yeah, from there, when we did the campaign, we said this is a multiracial event.
Okay.
Oh, I
Hello.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
So and then eventually that grew into multiracial productions, where we were doing events that were multiracial,
Right.
because we were trying to pull the kids to understand each other.
Yeah.
You know, because there was still this like divide from pre 94.
94. Yeah.
You know, so we wanted them to experience each
The
other.
best of both. Yeah.
You know.
Because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. You know, to talk about the awkwardness. You know, of having to have this multiracial event, and you know, having these kids driving from the suburbs to Ekasi to go party with you know, an opposite of if you want to put it that, right?
Yeah, that's
it must have been quite awkward in the beginning.
It was awkward, not really, because being in the Model C school, you kind of, and Model C schools, when like it was a space where you find the good in it, or
you hate it,
and obviously there's certain people that didn't mix.
Yeah,
we saw it in our school as well.
Ish.
And then you had the kids that would mix, and those were that's the beauty of our democracy. Those ones that are willing to mix. But anyway, so it was awkward in trying to get. But the nice thing is we had already built. Christa had kind of built a reputation, especially with this club that had built, to get people to like that music. So there were white kids
that already gravitated towards it.
Yeah, you know, in that space.
Yeah,
right. The way it was perceived.
Yeah,
and so it was kind of like a little bit easier to grasp those people to
say, listen, let's go to Sosha, and they wouldn't have a problem with it.
And there was already an underground culture of people moving into house spaces at some.
Yeah.
There was already DJs that were moving in that space already, playing the music.
Yeah.
And introducing it to the other spectrum. At that time. So, I mean, interesting story is I would go to gay clubs.
To
listen to house music.
Because that's where it was being played. That's where you could enjoy it,
anywhere
right?
Else.
I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it is true. You know, like even from the US. It was mainly gay clubs that were really rocking house music.
House music,
exactly. So, like our group of friends, the rave side that I was talking about, we would go to gay clubs to listen to them. We'd go in a group, obviously, because we had a certain pretension of it. You know, at that time, it was, I mean, our understanding of it was very different from what it is now.
Right.
So, yeah, we would go in groups just to go listen to the music, because that's the only spaces we could go. We'd go to Kasi with our friends from the Model C schools to go listen, be it at a house party. You know, there were a lot of instances we'd end up at just, you know how it was, with the house parties. It was just one big, everyone in that street would get together, and it was one big bash, you know. And we'd go to those spaces to listen to the music, because we couldn't go to
anywhere else.
The more prominent clubs, because they were playing all the commercial stuff, you know. So it wasn't such an awkward thing in a way. And then we did the opposite as well. We try and bring
the guys from Ekasi to
this side, you know. So, and we started developing these spaces, and sometimes it was frowned upon. Some venue owners would frown upon on us, like, you know, what's going on.
Why are you bringing,
you know, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. That's how it was that time.
And it must have been particularly difficult for you guys, because then they see you guys as selling out, you know, because you're moving to, a space that's not really their space to call it that.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say sell out, because where we were focused in, it was mostly like the house and the groove sound, you know, which was already opening the unification of the two sides. Let's call it like that. All right. So that was creating the unification. That music was creating the unification.
Nice one.
So it was sometimes you'd have to sell a little bit of a lie to the venue owners, you know, and then they get surprised, but then they tone it down when they see, okay, well, it's a vibe. And
Everyone is just having a good time.
It's just, we just here to have a good time. You
Yeah.
know? Just drop your pretentiousness and see what's happening.
Right. So the name Multiracial Records is born now, right? Because now you're doing events.
Well, the records is not born yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the name.
The name Multiracial
Yeah.
is there,
Yeah.
right? How does it then move to Multiracial Records? Because you obviously need to get this music now and start selling it.
Yeah, so in that space, when we're doing all these events and stuff, Chris also came across to me, and he had another business idea, just to obviously, you know, we've always been taught in as coming from a Portuguese or like a continental. And I say continental, when I'm mentioning people from the European side, with a very entrepreneurial sense and diversified like channel of. So Christos came to me and he's like, you know, he was involved in something called like the sweet station. It was a sweet shop, so he was selling sweets to kids.
Oh, nice, yeah.
You know, and the sweets to like it's just confectionery and stuff. And I got involved with him in that, and we in that space, we started the company called Cisco, which is the actual company behind the Multi-Raciall brand, the holding company, and the sweet shop was in it. And then in that space, there was a little bit of things that happened, and I kind of got bought out of it, and Christos had to go overseas for some other things, which I wouldn't want to talk about because that's his story, not my story. And we were split for about two years.
Okay.
And when he returned from that hiatus,
What year was that?
so the YY we did in '99. Then it was the era of the Voodoo Lounge, when we started the Voodoo Lounge and the Sweet Station. And then, it was around about 2001, 2002.
Okay.
So a lot of things happened in that space while he was on hiatus. And when he came back...
Was it the time when you met Art?
No, that was before Art. Okay. That was the time when I was chosen for the Red Bull Music Academy.
Oh, the one that you went to Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah. So that was also a spark of why we started Multiracial Records. So in this period when he went overseas, like Multiracial Productions died out, I was curating and playing in a club called Voodoo Lounge. So I was kind of the resident there, and I was also helping out with the curation of the lineups and events and stuff with Vusi, the manager. So and then obviously that was around about that time. And then when he returned, and with all that happened in that space that he wasn't around, it sparked in me he had actually gone and opened up a record store with another guy, and that didn't really work out for him. So I just told him, listen, it was actually a record store and a DJ school. So that lasted like 3 months when he returned, and then we got together again, and I said, listen, let's carry on with the Multiracial legacy, and let's open the when he returned, we actually he started the school and the records, and then we started like a little studio at his place.
Okay.
And in that space we started the Multiracial record label. Okay. And then a lot of things started birthing out of that, and in that space that's when we opened up the record store, and then grew from that. Yeah.
The process of having to get the music, shipping the music, where were you guys getting a lot of it from the States, or were you getting it from Europe, or?
We first started a buying partnership. I think it was with Soul Candy.
Okay.
Because that's the era they moved from Sugar Tracks. They changed it to Soul Candy, and then they moved over to Rosebank.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got together at the Rowick that time, and we made a deal at buying records from them.
Oh.
Yeah, we buy obviously at whatever they felt was reasonable,
Yeah.
below selling price, and we started buying records from them for the store, and then we started making partnership with other record stores. But then eventually we branched out of that into creating our own relations with
The suppliers.
with all the suppliers overseas, which was Europe and US.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So initially it started as you getting your music from the guys that were like your soul candies of the world, and then you eventually branched out on your own, right?
Yeah, I mean, that time there was, I think there was Deep K in Pretoria,
Mm.
and there was like Camino Records, and there was a few little record stores, and then and we also wanted to get into that space, and then obviously Christos had tried to start it with this
The
other
partner,
guy, and when we started the Multi-Raciall one, we looked at better ways to create partnerships to bring it, kind of like simplified us getting the records here, and then learning the business. And then once we started learning it, then we started making the relations with the distributors overseas. So we kind of like built up print and everything.
So yeah, I mean, how long did the actual vinyl store run for? When did you open and when did you shut the doors of the vinyl store?
We started the store in conjunction with the school. What was it? 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, because I came back from Red Bull, 2003, and we basically ran it until I think it was 2014, 2015.
That's a big run. That's a long run. Eh?
But we started watering it down a lot after 2012.
Yeah,
So the last 3 years was like very. It was like, it was just that phase. Everyone was in the MP3s, but we found some ways to sustain it using the digital platforms.
Tell me more.
We actually we build music stations in the store. 'Cause we yes, there was already ripping, but the DJs weren't. The music wasn't that accessible unless you went onto track source.
Yeah.
Afro, what was it?
Aphrodisia.
Aphrodisia, Beatport, Juno. Juno wasn't there yet. Juno only came later. But anyway, so we wanted to, being in the production of music and being in the music industry and releasing, and knowing where your source of income comes as a producer or an artist, that we wanted to create a space where you're gonna get the digital music,
Yeah.
but you're still gonna support the artist.
You actually you're gonna
So
buy it, yeah.
We replaced some of our turntable stations with music stations.
That's actually
computer.
a good idea.
Yeah.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
So you allow the guys to come in and log into your Beatport and whatnot,
Yeah,
but they buy
yeah.
it from your establishment,
Yeah.
right?
So
That's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
So we opened like 10 accounts on each of the platforms.
Yeah.
And that time, the payments on the sites, you needed a credit card.
Yeah.
It wasn't your debit order.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't buy
You
with
couldn't buy
debit.
with a
debit
debit
card, yeah.
card.
Yeah.
It's not like today where you can just use any bank
Yeah,
card
yeah.
and buy online.
Thank God you can now.
Yeah.
Because
So it
now
was-
everybody has to get a credit card.
Yeah. So we took the company credit card, and that's how we set it up. We set up the 10 different accounts. We had like the stations going there, and like clockwork of vinyl days, we started doing digital release days.
It's actually a smart idea, man.
And we had all the local DJs coming in and sitting down buying.
Yeah.
They buy on their account, they come to the checkout, and then we check them out, and they pay for the
extra
We
amount.
just put our like service fee, and
Of course, yeah.
and that time we still had to pay data.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like uncapped. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we charge a data fee, and that was our business model.
Talk about sustaining a business. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
so-
actually a very smart idea, man. You know, I
is
like
smart.
that. Yeah.
Can you quickly touch on winning this trip to Sao Paulo with Red Bull? How did it come about? How did you end up getting that?
If it wasn't for Mbuso,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to DJ Mbuso.
Shout outs to DJ Mbuso, man, brother. But he knows, man.
Yeah.
We had many conversations and talks and
Yeah.
Yeah.
stories together when we were on tour and stuff. But anyway, so we it was Soul Candy. I think it was early 2002.
It was 2002.
Oh, 2001. Because the process was long in choosing the candidates. So Soul Candy wasn't, they had, like you walked into, remember Soul Candy in Rosebank?
The one underneath.
Yeah.
Underground, yeah.
Like walking, you kind of like walk into a parking lot or something and you walk downstairs and like, geez. So it was like very tight and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll never
yeah.
forget that. And then,
And it would get hot when it's hot.
yeah,
when it's
yes, and
packed.
it's vinyl release day and that place is packed.
Yeah.
And it's like a sauna.
That
in there.
fan wouldn't even
Yeah,
work. It just-
nothing.
Yeah.
And like I'm like sitting there and like I'm listening to my records and Bush is like, hey, listen, you interested in I think you'd be interested in this, and he hands me the Red Bull application form.
Oh yeah, it used to come in like a digipack type thing, right?
Even before that.
Oh, okay.
This was pre those days where it was the digipacks. It
Right.
was like just a form.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got the form. I mean that was the early days of internet.
Yeah.
So you didn't even go online to go download or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there were websites, but anyway, so he gives me this form and I'm like, what's this thing? And then I take it home and I go and I start reading it. And then really, that form took me like 3 months to fill in.
Yeah, because I think you have to tell some sort of story
And you have to
about
really
yourself.
think
You
about
think,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this-
Psycho- it's psychometric in its own.
yeah. The way they choose the people for they chose the people for Red Bull those days. They really made an effort because they wanted the right people in that space. You know.
And you look at how those people turned out. It
Yeah.
tells you a lot about.
I mean, the roster of
Yeah.
people that have come out of Red Bull and the success they've made.
True.
And yeah, man, and that was the year, and I sent off my form, and I think a month or two later, I got an email. I had to like think to myself, like, really, is this what's happening? You know, and I went to Brazil, and that actually really set a spark for me to pursue, because I was kind of also in a space where I was selling my sweet shop.
Yeah.
Because Christos had gone overseas due to some other things that personal reasons, and I mean we were also at crosshairs.
Okay.
In the direction we wanted the business to go.
Yeah.
With a sweet station.
Yeah.
So I got bored out of that, and we kind of like, and then Multiracial Productions basically stopped there. We weren't doing events anymore, and I was really thinking of getting out, not even pursuing really. I still had the passion a lot. I just didn't know the direction. And there was a lot of other factors that played that kind of pushed me to pursue, still carry on pursuing it. But Red Bull was one of the biggest factors.
How long were you in Sao Paulo for?
It's 2 weeks, eh?
Yeah.
But it's 2 weeks of changing your life. Like, you can ask anyone that's gone. Like Coffee went, because when I got back, I like pressed him to go to that as well.
Yeah.
And I was I'd also like pushed the guys when I was in Sao Paulo, like I also like had like kind of hammered it into Torsten and Mari, the organizers of Red Bull, to try and bring it to South Africa, because we need something like this. And the industry, because the industry was insane.
Yeah.
No one had actually really understood what the South African music scene was
like. Yeah.
And the house music scene and just the whole culture. So yeah, man. I mean, there was a lot of factors. I mean,
What is? Can you explain to me what is RMBA? Because I see you became an ambassador for RMBA. In
Red Bull
Pretoria.
Music.
It is Red Bull.
Yeah, it's a Red Bull Music Academy.
Okay, so you become the ambassador in Pretoria.
Yeah. when I got back, well, Red Bull had this thing. It's if you understand what the perception or what the concept of Red Bull's factor was that back then to get into cultures that were untapped.
Yeah.
That was their
They kind of
approach.
still do that.
They kind of still do that, but now everyone's basically doing that. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
but they would tap into these very underground cultural things that are happening, extreme sports, and that, you know. And their way of getting into it is by having what they called ambassadors or musketeers. So you had your musketeers that would run more the retail beverage side of it, and then you'll have ambassadors for the music academy in certain cities and certain countries that would basically source, like, I wouldn't say untapped talent that has a possibility of going to the Red Bull mode, and they fit the space of what Red Bull is trying to
achieve. Yeah,
and you basically encourage them to apply for that, because that application, when you look at it, it's
thick. Yeah,
like a
booklet.
Bible.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember
And
seeing one of them.
for creatives and people, musicians and artists, I mean, some don't take the time to like go through something and fill it in. You know, it's mentally taxing.
Yeah,
in a way.
it takes you a while to complete.
Yeah.
Then you have to really get into detail about what your answer. Your answer has to be elaborative, if I should.
You have to. It has to come from inside,
Of course.
And so our role was like trying to get the right people to apply, and also be there if they have any questions and guide them on the process. I'm trying to make it a little bit easier for them to get there, because those days you had to courier the stuff
Overseas
to Austria. It wasn't just a matter of clicking and
send
sending
an
an email and
email
stuff.
with an attachment.
Yeah, so
One of those people was Black Coffee that
Yeah.
you advocated for.
yeah.
How did you meet up with Black Coffee?
It was Voodoo Lounge.
Right.
It was the era of Voodoo Lounge. It was just before Red Bull Music Academy.
so that would be 2000, 2001.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. 2000, 2001. Yeah, 2000, I think. So we had this ritual of all the DJs getting together on a certain day of the week at the club, and we discuss the week coming up. It's just obviously a DJ's meeting and stuff. Nutty just happened to come up and like he introduced himself, and he wanted to play and stuff. So I think one of the guys told, I think it was the manager of Vusi, told him, okay, go inside and play, and we'll carry on having our meeting.
Wow, yeah.
To 1 year. And Nati started playing then, and then we started inviting him into the club and stuff. So that was kind of the space we met in.
What is it
But we had
about
a lot of-
him that kind of made you say, there's something special about this guy?
I don't know. It wasn't. I don't think for that time, like, you had this thing of DJs, and DJs at that time were like far and few. So if you were a DJ, you kind of like started to be part of a clique, or you'd invite the DJ in and stuff,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it's not like now where every second person you meet
He's a DJ. Yeah.
So that was like kind of unique and stuff. And I mean, I'm very grateful we met that time, because a lot of stuff birthed out of it.
Of course. I think you released some music with him.
Nati, they had a group called Shana. And that time we were just kind of starting, I'd gotten back from Red Bull, we had just started getting the Multiracial records thing kind of together. Not really, we were building up to that, and we already had the studio at Chris's house. And Nati calls me up, and he says, listen, he needs the band to. He needs a place for the band to record. They want to put an album together, and then we gave them the space of the studio, and we kind of worked on some of the tracks with them. And there's a lot of other stuff that we worked on. It's like sometimes you work on things and you forget about it.
Yeah. Kind of stays in the archives, right?
Not even in the archives. Maybe it did get released, and then when you go, and when you go back on certain things, then like I've kept all my CDs that I've released. I've kept archive, like I've got backup of archives of our studio work and stuff.
Nice.
That dates back to the time we started the studio, and you go back on that, and you know, and during doing backups, because you want to safeguard that stuff.
Yeah.
You come across certain things and that clicks over. Oh yeah, I did this, I did that.
Oh man.
So there's a lot of stuff that came out of that era at that time.
So how do you meet Art Jones?
It's in this space that we were with Shana, working in the studio. They brought in Art. I think because Nati was also doing. The reason Nati was up here because he's from down in Eastern Cape and KZN. He was up here studying at the TUT in Central, and Art was also studying there, music and stuff. So I think that's where they met him. And AJ, they brought AJ to the studio, and
so you know him via Black Coffee.
Yeah, via the
Shana.
Yeah, I think Moby was with him in university. Yeah, one of them was with AJ in TUT. So they brought him into the studio, and he was working on the Shana album, and then out of that we started like a relation partnership, working on music, and he was working with everyone in the studio because he was super talented. On the keys and stuff, he was so he was super, super talented, and we just clicked and started working. We were working on a lot of projects and stuff, and then slowly but surely we moved into the direction of creating a partnership of Cis and Jones.
Cis and Jones.
Yeah,
That was the birth of Cis and Jones.
Dude, came some heavy hits
from
that relationship, right?
Well, I mean, AJ being in the studio, I mean, he played part and role in Lebo Matos's "I Love Music."
Oh, I love that song, bro.
Yeah, man.
That song is nice.
Yeah, he played a big role in a lot of Shana's stuff I think it was their second last album before they went into solo careers. Yeah, but he was super talented. That guy was something else.
His passing must have had a huge effect on you.
Yeah, it was so. Yeah, it's also the way he passed away and stuff. It was. I didn't even like. Everyone was gathering at his house that day that he was. I couldn't even go to the house. It was. Yeah, it's like. I have a thing like I want to remember you, how I remember you alive. So. When everyone was going to his house, he had passed at his house, and obviously the ambulance was still there, and they were asking me to come. And I just said I can't go there and see how he is, because that's not how I want to remember him. But yeah, it was and we had built such a special friendship, man.
Sorry, bro. Man.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
But yeah, I mean, he's making music up there.
Yeah, because I heard his funeral was, I mean, people were talking about, there were guys standing on the sides of the road, and it was just packed.
Yeah, we actually had to do, I think the family had their own memorial at the cathedral, and we actually did another memorial in town. It was actually at a club. It was one of the clubs we used to frequent, which was Musica Feliz. And yeah, man, it was at the church square, and it was But yeah, it was. It's not something I want to forget, but it's it's still a bit painful. Because there's days I sit and I think where our friendship would be now, and like what type of influence he'd have, because yeah, like I said, he was like a musical genius. Yeah.
And did you guys maybe have any work that you put together that wasn't released?
There was a few stuff, and I was actually upset with myself. I had a hard drive, because we started moving away from backing our stuff up on DVDs, and I had a hard drive, and I started putting all the projects, even his own solo projects, because Art was working on solos as well, and he was working with a lot of other people.
Oh man!
And I had his hard drive, and that hard drive bombed, and that put me into a space like now I back up everything all the time. But yeah, luckily there is a few stuff we worked on. I just haven't. Maybe one day I'll get around to finishing the stuff.
Suppose it's the emotional attachment that you still have,
yeah,
to what you guys had, that you feel like you're not ready to go into that space again.
Yeah, and also I feel I don't want to damage his legacy by bringing out something and it's not the way it should be.
It should be.
I still got that thing, so there's a few stuff in the archives that. But I mean, I don't know. I'll get around to it, I suppose.
At some point, right?
Imagine having a Cis and Jones in 2025, 2026. You know, that will be really, really dope. Man.
Special. Rest in peace to Art Jones. Man.
Rest in peace, bro.
What a legend.
Yeah.
I think it took everyone, by surprise. We were all shocked to hear of his passing. And there was a lot of expectation in terms of who he was and the talent, right?
Yeah.
We all listened to his music differently, and we consumed it in such a way that everyone felt like there's a legend in the making here, man. And for his life to be cut short just like that,
man.
There's a certain level of unfairness to it, man,
If you think about it, we only had, if I could estimate it in my own view, it was only exposure of like 5 years. But he had so much more.
Oh, man.
So much more, man.
Yeah.
What do you think he'd be up to now?
He'll still be in the studio.
Yeah.
He loved music. It's weird because, we were gaining a lot of traction with Sis and Jones. I still feel like as Sis and Jones, we'd still be moving forward and stuff. So his solo stuff he was doing was, man. I think he would be producing people's albums now. Maybe he would be in the movie space because he was talented like that. He could emotionally tag you with something that he just starts playing immediately. Yeah. So
yeah, man. May you continue to rest.
Rest in peace, Art Jones, man.
Thank you for the music.
Yeah, we miss you. Another talent that came out of Multi-Racial Records is Rowick Deep.
Yeah.
How did Rowick Deep come into play and enter the Multi-Racial Record space?
I met Rowick quite earlier on. It was during those times that I spoke about when we did the Wire. This was late 90s. I got introduced to Rowick through Tani. He was also, again, another DJ. Far and few. Like, we clicked because DJing and stuff, and yeah, also. And then pulled him into Voodoo Lounge. He was one of the guys at Voodoo Lounge as well. And yeah, man, we just kept on crossing paths. He'd sometimes go on his own ventures and come back, and he obviously went and he was part of the Heavy D crew that did the 45 BPM, which also blew up and stuff.
Shout out.
And that's kind of the time we met, and we just stayed in crossing paths until eventually we started a sound company under the Multi-Racial brand, and then it just grew into him also starting production.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Crazy, man.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
How do you deal with loss? Is it do you just pack it away somewhere and have that notion of having to deal with it later, or do you go through it?
I don't know. Kind of like go through it, but also, you know, in that time when like all these people, like all this loss is in the spotlight, you kind of like losing yourself in that period of trying to create a good remembrance of the person, be it through their memorials or through the interviews you have to give about them and stuff. So that also kind of helps, because you kind of you trying to keep it in a positive message for people to remember this person like that. And I think that's also, I was fortunate enough to be in those relationships to play that role. You know, and
mentor / business partner /
and in actually to play that role and like release in that way, and obviously still trying to like find ways to keep their legacy alive some way. You know.
Rest in peace, Rowick Deep.
Yeah.
Rowick Deep, one of the best to ever do it, right?
Yeah, man. Yenny was also like short period, and
we lost him, right?
Yeah.
On a more lighter note,
Yeah.
right?
I wanted to ask about Capital House Collection.
Yeah.
The Capital House Collective.
Collective,
Capital, what is it?
It's collective.
Capital Collective, yeah.
Yeah.
Which eventually moved to Capital House Movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Capital Collective wanted to showcase, obviously, that time there was a lot of compilations coming out.
Yeah.
But nothing that was showcasing local producers, because people were getting to producing music, especially in the house scene.
Yeah.
Yes, there was the Kwaito, and the more, but the actual house music production. Okay, there was like DJs at work and stuff that were in that space, but we wanted to showcase young and up and coming producers that were making music already, because it was becoming a thing to be making music as a DJ, and there were producers that were just messing around that weren't DJs. So it was in that era where everyone was now starting to take note that there is this stuff. So I wanted to showcase people that like from the Capital House, from Pretoria, which back then a lot of people were considering the capital of house music.
So
a lot of stuff was coming out there.
I still do.
The events, the big event, like the major underground events and stuff were happening. You know, you'd go. A lot of people would drive to Pretoria to experience the clubs there. You know, and so I managed to. Bubbles was putting out compilations with USM, which was the company behind a lot of...
Shout out to Bubbles.
Yes, shout out to Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Bubblicious.
Billy
Jackson. Also, we're part of the Voodoo Lounge crew and everything. And he was putting out compilations called the Soul... not the Soulful Roots. What was it called? House Flavor, was it? What?
Was it House Flavor?
Yeah, I don't know, and he was on his fourth one. So we had he was putting out, and the first like local release from Pretoria that he had put on his compilation was something that me, him, and Larry produced.
Nice.
Which is a trio of us called Soulful Roots.
What?
Yeah. So when we went through to sign papers and stuff, I started creating a relation with Nigel from USM, and I've sold him this idea of like, look, there's producers, and I want to make a fully local compilation, not a compilation you have to go license overseas. You need to license it from the guys, you know. And then he was keen, he jumped on board, spent a few months collecting music from the producers on that side, working with guys in the studio as well, cross-pollination, you know, and put a Capital Collective out to showcase like local, and basically the policy of our compilations from there onwards. Any compilation that came out of Multiracial was to try and do local stuff.
Well done.
You know,
Nice.
to push the local house music.
Well done.
Yeah.
Cisco, it's safe to say, Wex and I are of the opinion that house music Pretoria is the capital of house music.
Okay.
Whether people want to argue about that point or not, it's the capital. That's where a lot of the house music came from, and that's where the movement started from, right?
Yeah.
It's safe to say that you took, obviously with your partners that you've been working with over the years, you just took it and made the world realize that actually, yes, we are flying the house music flag really, really high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've done so and I don't think your story is celebrated enough and shared enough with the world, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get here with this is, you know, house music became big, but now, modern day, you know, we still have, and we were chatting about this earlier on, just before we started shooting. What's your take on the house music scene or the dance music scene right now in South Africa?
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I still have faith and hope that it's reigniting. Right, there's a lot of factors that are playing. Obviously, Afro is getting a lot of attention overseas. Amapiano was there; it still is, but you can, to my opinion, it feels like it's on the plateau at the moment. But in my years of being in this industry, there's always been cycles. You always see the cycles. They're not always on time, but you see these cycles where certain music genres, or let's call it house music or dance music, in that space, because I also see hip hop as dance music in a way. You know, all these genres that kind of make resurgence after a while because generations catch onto them, or you know, so my thoughts, even like I see, like even in Pretoria, the deep house scene, somehow there's a small little resurgence. You see these little pockets of flames that are taking shape, that looks like it's going to come back. It is basically, you know, I've got a theory that these cycles, it's just between underground and what's visible to people. So those that are searching for it in the underground, it's always there. But those that are not lazy enough to go look for it, it's not there. So there's these cycles, and then it catches on, and then eventually, like the main, like call it we used to use the term commercial because that was the space like everyone wanted to be in the sense of like visibility, you know, like trending. Let's say trending. So the next trending thing would come up, and then it gets noticed. There was an interesting like small clip I heard the other day. It was a club promoter in New York. I can't remember his name, and he said, and this is what it actually clicked with me, is that a club has a cycle. The club starts out, and then you have like the underground not wannabes, but the guys that are the cool guys, the trendsetters and stuff. You know, the underground kids that come in and they capture this culture. Then you get the rich, you know, the well-off, affluent crowd.
Commercialize it.
Before commercialization, you know, because sometimes, especially the wealthy, they want experiences. So they want to experience something different. So they want to be somewhere where the experience is different but trendy. And they catch on to this underground stuff. Then they go in, and then the next group of people that come in are the ones that kind of, I'm not trying to pocket anyone and stuff, but it's like kind of the people that want to be part of the in thing, right? They want to buy into it. They want to be part of the trend, and that's like the last phase, and then the cycle restarts again. It's the same thing with kind of, I think, kind of music. You see it in the festivals. I mean, festivals and what they are now and what they were before, it's very different. Like the festivals of kind of like underground. People would go to them. I mean, you can think of, remember Warm Up?
Yeah. Well,
and I think Yeah.
So remember, I was like, well,
Yeah.
you want to say I was a resident.
Exactly.
there.
So if you look at the phase that it happened, like how did it start? It was like an underground.
It's a really underground movement.
And then
yeah.
it slowly started moving
Yeah.
the guys that wanted a different experience, you know,
The rooftops. and
rooftops and
Yeah.
stuff. They wanted that different experience. Then you had all the others that, okay, now everyone else is doing, let's get on it. You know, let's go see what this thing's about. Because
Yeah.
now it's a comfort zone now.
Yeah.
So now the cycle restarts again.
It's actually true when you think
It
about
is.
If you think about It's Personal Picnic, same
Yeah,
thing.
It's
I
Personal
remember
as
when
well.
Yeah.
It's Personal kind of like branched off towards the end of warm up, and it was just a small little festival.
Yeah.
Look at it now.
And now it grew and grew, and now it's all like the popular kids.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So you see these cycles happening. It's the same thing with music. So the entertainment industry, that's my view of it. That's just, I can't say that's what it is, but that's how I see it as well. You know.
But it makes sense the way he
A lot.
describes it. And now I'm so do you think house music is going through that cycle now where, because like you say, with house music it's always been there, it's always been underground. Do you think now it's a question of it having to go back to being popular with the rich kids so that it goes back to that popularity state?
I think what's the next thing that's going to trend, because that's where everyone is on social.
Yeah.
You reckon it's going to be
unfortunately.
the next
But there is, I still have faith because I see certain youngsters and that they got that tune of like underground building culture.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
instead of just what is everything else, what is everyone else doing, and they're getting into the house music again. Especially also like with the school I have, the youngsters that are coming in, and like I still like mentor and teach some of the kids there that come in, and when I'm in the class with them, because everything's like basically one-on-one,
Yeah.
and I have these conversations with them, and then you kind of like some of them when they talk to you about why they're doing what they're doing, right? It kind of takes you back to why you were doing what you were doing. It, like,
I actually
triggers
wanted to say that while you were talking. I'm like, because your story, earlier on, you and Christos would rather go to places where they would play stuff that's a little bit more underground, instead of the popular stuff. You know, so obviously now there are kids who are like that now, who would rather not go popular. They'll rather go maybe underground or maybe create their own vibe.
Yeah. And going back to that, so let's take it pre-COVID. The same in the same environment of schools and teaching and mentoring people. Those youngsters that were coming in had a different reason why they wanted to be a DJ.
Yeah.
To what I'm seeing now.
Oh, is
That's why, like back then, obviously the popping bottles, lifestyle, DJ, you know what's in the front and what they don't realize what's
how hectic it is behind
and stuff. So they wanted the quick feet and the cheap results rather than like why a lot of the DJs that are successful start being the DJs. Yeah.
And you are more closer to the ground, and that's why I think his makes sense, because he's closer to the ground.
I get it.
He has DJ school. He runs events and places where you do all the stuff, right? So you get to see the trends. You get to see what these young ones are saying and then talking about the culture. So it kind of gives me hope as well, because for a very long time, I think I was in a space where I was thinking our culture is really dying, and anybody that used to ask me that, I would say house music is dying. But you have a different opinion about that, right?
Yeah.
Based off what you see and what you hear from these youngsters.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Now that we're talking about youngsters and culture, the now culture, what are your thoughts on piano music? I don't want to dwell too much on it. Just a quick.
It's difficult to say because, I mean, some argue piano came from Pretoria. So when I go back to like when we were trying to push the house music thing, people were so like, "What's this house music?" You know. So, and piano came out of obviously house.
House,
Music. You can
yeah.
hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, the foundations are there.
Yeah.
And what birthed that was, or the young producers and the producer that were doing that, is either their parents were listening to house music, or they themselves were also into it. You know, so it's just an evolution of what it was. I do think it's a little bit on a plateau at the moment, but everything will evolve. And like I said, there will be cycles. Interesting fact, we were speaking about it. Gom is making a resurgence now.
Yeah, boom, right?
Yeah.
Hectically so. And it's coming, you know, the funny thing is it's making a resurgence as if it's been something that was underground, you know. But it never was. You know what I'm saying?
Indirect, if you look from the outskirts, it did go underground. It just at the root points. Again, this is just my opinion.
Of course.
You know, if the comments go wild and fire, hey, it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So, at Gom, basically, at the root, it never died.
Always been there.
It's always been there. The same thing, like what I was explaining about the underground. Like the music just goes back there. It's not in the limelight anymore, and then once it becomes to a certain point of trend, now it's the thing.
Yeah.
So those that stick with that, stick with the what, like us as house DJs, we with house, you know, the Gom DJs and the Gom producers, they would Gom. You know, the ones that are going to stick it out through are going to see the fruits later.
Yeah.
Right. In itself, being in it is still, you know, it's still rewarding.
I mean, you look at
DJ
Tira he's never backed off Gom, you know, and you see him successful now or whatever, but it's because he's stuck to what he believed in, and he believed that Gom is something that the world is going to appreciate. And look at him now, man, you know? Yeah.
Well, they had the whole province, you know, was behind them. You know how, like, the Zulu people are.
Yeah.
They love their own things, and they will make sure that they support their own things. So it was definitely going to never die. I mean, I think Gom's going to live way beyond DJ Tira and them, you know. It's going to stay there for a long time. It might actually also end up going international, because of, I just think the way it is now.
I was saying now, like when we were out there and I saw the poster, like of techno.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're discussing like a venue here in Joburg that's predominantly like very techno underground based is hosting Gom nights now. And it's like, all right.
Okay.
So that's opening up, you know. So I mean going back to you asking me about Amapiano, it's going to evolve into something, but it's closer to me because it's in my hometown.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so, and I've had the experience of coming from where a culture is born in a city, so that's just another culture that was born there. It was rooted, and it evolved from the soulful house music and the house music stuff that came from. So, I mean, yeah.
Nice. I quickly I just want to talk about this.
Go ahead.
I don't know where were you, because I want to talk about his music now.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to talk about stuff that you released with Multi-Racial records. I think maybe like 2007, 2009, House Nation EP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the process with that was that also some of your first solo stuff, or was that also a combined project?
I had already started producing before I started delving into production before I even went to the Red Bull Music Academy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
you had stuff out already?
Yeah, I mean, I started, my first proper production was that got out was with Soulful Roots with Bubbles and Larry.
Yeah.
And we were working on some other stuff. We even worked on some. Yeah, I remember we actually worked on a remix for, what was it? There was a movie with Ice Cube, something about the money.
Is it?
What's it?
The Benjamins, not the.
Yeah,
All
I think it was that. Yeah, something. Yeah, we actually did a remix for the.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was already getting into production there, and then obviously with us opening up the studio and Multiracial, getting Shana in that time. Like Shana was like one of the first big album, like I wouldn't say, but like one of our first full albums we recorded in that studio, and then obviously it went out with Christos, and then yeah, but That was, I was already producing there, and then obviously the Sis and Jones. I mean, it was most of the time it was just me and AJ,
And AJ.
producing. That's it. And then we'd pull in the vocalist to sing on whatever needed to be sung on, but everything else was pretty much so.
Live your life.
Yeah, you know.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, yeah, the solo project actually, my solo productions really started, I think, after AJ passed away.
When you did that song with was it Martin East and was that
That was me, Martin, and Keith Snow.
Snow? Yeah,
Yeah.
traveled far or something.
Traveled far, yeah.
Yeah.
So Martin had come over to play and stuff, and we just got into the studio and we did a track. So yeah, that was after AJ had passed. So pretty much my activity before AJ had passed was always Sis and Jones. There was one or two little solos that when I was doing the Capital Collective. That I did one or two tracks with other guys and stuff. But majority that time of my production period, it was mostly Sis and Jones. And I only got into the solos like after AJ passed away.
Yeah.
Did you actually ever then take out like a full album?
Yeah, I did. I was doing the compilations, moved from Capital Collective to, and then I did. I've actually only done one album, because then that's after that album, then the digital phase started coming. Then I realized you're putting out a whole album and no one's listening to the album. Where now it seems like it's people are going back to that because people want albums again. But back then you put out a 12, because albums back then was 12 tracks, 12 to, depending on how long your tracks was, but it was average about 12. And even on the CD, when you're putting it on the CD, some tracks wouldn't be favorites of other people's, but at least they had the CD there,
The opportunity to
listen through the album, and they actually listened through the album. And when digital came in, obviously people just chose the ones they wanted.
It kills, because now you just choose and take the one you want.
So I only released the one which was Seasons, and funny enough, I signed under Kalawa.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay. Oh wow.
We had done other work with Kalawa for Fed Cook and Mauta and some other stuff for Skido, his license, and then obviously the opportunity came up. I spoke to Oscar and he suggested like, yeah, we'll sign you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you name me some of the guys that you've collabed with? I mean, some of the big names. I mean, I know we all know the Sis and Jones.
I mean, Coffee did some remixes for us, and then he worked a lot in our studio because he also worked a bit in our. So that it's weird because the thing is, we had our record store, and right next to our record store, we had a window that looked into our studio.
Oh.
So
nice.
people got the full experience when they came to the record store.
You'll see Nati doing an album, they're recording and stuff.
Yeah, that
and the
too.
rest of the other guys,
The nice thing about that as well is we'd have people come in that would just maybe coming to buy records, and then they'd come in the studio.
End up going, oh nice,
like Shona. Now we collaborated with Christos. We did a few projects with Christos.
This is the DJ Christos.
Yeah, Christos.
Yeah.
Who else did we collaborate with? Obviously Martin East, Steve Paradise.
Sheesh, your catalog is
it's
big,
I'm trying
man.
to think. Like I said, like you move on and you, I don't know, maybe I got a little bit of imposter syndrome, but I tend to not. Sometimes I forget things, and then when I run through my backups and stuff, then I remember.
You're like, actually,
this is what I did. Yeah, I did stuff with Mbuso. There's a lot of stuff like.
Oh, you did some stuff with Mbuso?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. What else was there? There was a few stuff. I had a sense of more. I was trying to create platforms because I was trying to create platforms more for the youngsters that were coming through, because
Yeah.
we had the record store, we had guys coming in and then they'd bring their productions, and so I never had the sense of like working with them,
Yeah.
but rather letting them have their productions, and that's the way they want it out. The only way I would get involved with it is through doing post with like mixing and mastering.
Okay.
But I didn't want to mingle too much with, and just put them out on our compilations and put them out on our platforms and stuff.
So you've actually had your hands in a lot of songs that people might not even know that you had your hands on. So
Possibly, I'd
yeah.
have to go look in the archives.
Yeah.
And you did some work with Soul Sister as well.
Yeah. We what did we do? We did the single with Roxanne. Or no?
I think the song was "You Save Me" or something.
Yeah, it was You Save Me was Cara Fru, I think. Yeah, that was Cara.
Yeah, that was
Fru.
Cara. Yeah.
That was Cara. We also did musical High, which was with Roxanne, and then did a couple of remixes, and yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean I just wanted to talk about
No,
the music.
of course I know.
I just wanted to know who
There's
you
a
worked
few
with.
like if I go back on the archives, then things will click. And
Yeah.
then, like I kind of like try and look at, like I said, maybe I got imposter syndrome, so I don't like really remember the stuff
Dwell on it.
dwell on it too much.
Yeah.
Try and move forward and like what's the next new thing, and like giving guys like I get a lot of oaks coming to me and then they'll bring their productions, and if I can help them get it out, if it's just that little trampoline to like get them onto the platforms,
Yeah.
and I feel it fits with like what Multiracial is, and I
Nice
put it
one.
out,
Yeah.
you know.
And did you ever produce any Afro house?
Yeah, I did a release actually when I did Seasons. We actually, like me and Art Jones, before we passed, there's certain songs that we did that again it went onto someone's compilation. Like now, when I start going back on the archives, I start picking up like this one was on this compilation, and I go back on it, and then so that time we were experimenting a lot with these Afro rhythms and like fusing it with electro sound. So in that space, I feel already there I'd already started like producing some Afro. Then when I did the Seasons album, there's a lot of Afro elements in. It's like the early before Afro became Afro now, because we were already playing Afro stuff from the French guys that like your Africanism and stuff. They were making already, which I consider Afro
the
house
foundations
and the stuff. So that was influencing us back then. And then recently I did now with Technique. I did a collaboration with Technique.
Shout out to Technique, man.
Yeah, shout out to Technique.
man.
Ode to Adega.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Laid Down is Laid Down in 2020. Was that
Laid
like,
Down.
Would you categorize that as an Afro song?
it was
Afro house.
that's where we were like. I've always had that type of rhythmic thing that I in my stuff, because if you go back to one of our popular tracks that was popular overseas with Sis and Johns was a track called Jammy.
Yeah.
So
What's
I
it
was
called? Jamming.
Jammy.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were already back then we were working with different African vocalists from all over the continent, not only South Africa. Right. So Jammy was a track from a guy from Ghana, Isaac, and he just came into the studio and we recorded him, and then we took his vocals and did. But in that space, we were already trying to create that like Afro sound there. It was more on a deeper side, because that's where we were at the time. But gradually, as I started producing solo and stuff, I still brought that with me, and that's what's carried through the other stuff. There was Hush Hush, which I felt was very like already on the Afro vibe, because that was influenced by another a DJ producer from Angola back then, DJ Jesus, and he came to produce an album from Angola in our studios, and already there we were influencing each other, and he had a very like Kizombo type of eclectic type.
Yeah.
So that influenced a lot. If you go and listen to the Seasons album, that influence came from those combinations of collaborations I had back then. If you listen to the Seasons album, it is kind of got a very Afro type of affluent, and there was only a few of the guys that were doing it at that time, and then all the other stuff. I've always maintained like adding a lot of the rhythmic elements of the continental sound, you know.
Dope.
Yeah.
Really dope.
There was a break between, I mean, it was maybe 2014 to 2020. You were like chilling. No, I'm not releasing anything. What was going on in your life that
He was
time?
partying a lot then. I know. I used to party with
Oh
him
yeah,
a lot.
man. There was the warm-ups and stuff. What happened then?
You were partying a lot.
Yeah, I was.
I think sometimes
I was playing a lot. I was,
Yeah.
especially in South Africa. I never made the choice to go overseas and tour and stuff. I was more into the South
was it
African.
deliberate?
You know, there was a time I got married, and that space between like the Sis and Jones space, the 2010, and I had a club and everything. That space was very hectic for me. We were touring a lot, like SADC region and in South Africa. And I kind of like realized like this is not what I want to be doing, because the fact that I'd gotten married and had my son was born, and I wanted to be very present in his life. So I decided to keep my like movement within South Africa.
Okay.
And it just stayed there.
But
pretty
it
much.
could have happened if you really wanted it.
If I really wanted to, yes. I had I mean, you had the guys coming from overseas and working,
Meeting up with you.
meeting up
and-
with us, and there was discussion of us going there, and, you know. So, but it's, I mean, going back to manifestation.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Yeah.
if you don't plonk it.
Yeah. It just
So
kind of.
I just had a sense that I wanted to be more present in the family life, as well as be present in creating like being present in the scene here to make it a better space.
Good choice, man.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's nice. You became a family man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you kind of made a decision to be around your family, and yet kind of get these guys that want the platform, like you're saying, like it's like a trampoline that just moves them to the next level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your son's name?
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Shout out to Xavier.
Shout out to Xavier.
The multimedia guy.
And my wife.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Lucy.
the missus as well. Yeah.
man.
And then would you encourage him to take the path that you took?
We had this discussion. My son, he loves his music. Like, this is where I also see hope in like future generation in like doing music for a certain reason. But I don't think he's into the DJing. In a way, he has asked me about DJing, but I think it's for the wrong reasons. Sorry, Xavier. I think at the moment his space is at the moment to make a quick buck, but he is in a creative space. He's studying something that's kind of in the creative direction. He loves his football, so so his football takes precedence over DJing. So he has asked me sometimes, but I might think it's the wrong. He's doing it for the wrong reasons, but yeah, we'll see.
Shout out to
Maybe
Xavier, man.
later on, yeah.
Shout out to
Shout out
him,
to
man.
Xavier.
And then Brian was mentioning a lot about how much you party. Was he like partying crazy?
No, not really. No, I don't mean it like every weekend type of guy. But I think what I wanted to say is, I think sometimes, and you will attest to this as well, and I think both of you, because you're DJs, you get into a space when you've DJed for a long time that you just feel like you want to look from the outside in, just so you can understand the game. You know, what I'm saying? Because when you're in it, you kind of get lost in it and never know what's happening. So I think that's where you were at the time. You just wanted to look from there. Because, I mean, we would meet at a lot of the parties and you would just be there to listen.
I made a very selective choice of where I go.
Yeah.
I would never just go somewhere
Yeah.
because it's just the party.
Mm.
Like I go to spaces where like I can get an experience of what's happening at that point of time, and like where the underground is.
Yeah,
Like I always try and find what's happening at the grassroots
Yeah.
before, because that's where you can have a sense of like where things are going and stuff.
Ever been maybe exposed to substance abuse?
I wouldn't say
I wouldn't say like alcohol per se, but I'm
I wouldn't
talking
say
about hard stuff.
abuse. Recreationally, yes.
Yeah.
When I was much more younger,
Mm.
made the clear decision to be more focused and but recreationally, yes, when I was younger. But fortunately enough, some of my friends weren't fortunate enough, unfortunately.
Oh no,
So,
man.
Yeah. But you go through those. Unfortunately, the industry is surrounded by that.
Yeah.
You will always be surrounded by it. It's your clear choice to the way you want to steer through it. Did it recreationally to experiment, and then moved out of it because I had a clearer purpose in this industry. And it's something that I also carry that message in the way we mentor people and stuff.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable. It's there.
Yeah.
But and that's also like if you get into the industry for the wrong reason, you're gonna steer yourself into that
Be
direction.
consumed by it.
That
right?
is so
Yes,
true.
instead of like having clear purpose of what you do,
What you
to
want.
do. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are
Thanks,
you-
man.
are
Yeah,
you-
Brian, just so you know, we're almost running out of time. Yeah.
You're back to gigging, right?
Yeah, I've never stopped.
You've never
really.
stopped,
I've
but I
never
think-
really stopped gigging. I've always the other thing I've had the events companies. That I've been doing That I get
Tell
mixed
us a
in.
little more.
Like my main the main movement I had in Pretoria, I still do it. We've just toned it a little bit down. Is Trio Nova, and now also I'm still trying to get back into the space of multiracial, getting back into the eventing space. So Trio Nova was a very it's known as an old school brand because we carry a very old school type of vibe.
Like a legacy type thing.
Yeah. But prior we had a very like bridging the gap between the old and the new vibes. So we'd alternate between old school and what's happening now, or at the time that we were doing it. So we've like toned it down now, and we're more focused on old school. So now I'm trying to create new events with collaborations to get behind like the house scene again in Pretoria and stuff.
So
And
is that what's next for you now?
I'm also involved in venues, and I've also like playing like curation and consultancy roles in these venues to try and
I mean, with the kind of experience you have, I think it's a logical thing to get into.
yeah.
You know.
So and still obviously having the multiracial school running, and that side is still going on and everything. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much where I'm at the moment, and just. I never try playing too forward. All I know is I still want to be in this music industry.
You don't.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
What comes my way, and if it fits into the way I'm vibing, then I'll move in that direction. But
not?
never deviate from actually what I wanted.
So if you were to someone who does not know Multiracial Records and the school and what you guys are doing now,
Yeah.
if you were to explain to them in layman's term, what is it that you guys are doing now?
Multiracial is just I'd say a creative institute a music institute. Anything basically within the obviously urban I put it as urban music because what's happening in the city is it's either the house music, hip hop, I'm a piano, gqom, whatever. So as a space, we trying to create a space where we mentor and teach people to everyone has a different definition of success, but to progress in this industry with the best tools that you have, in experience that we've had. Urban Music Institute. So you come there, you can get some guidance through our courses. There's a studio you can come and record, or you can come and do your post production of your work. You know, with the right ears to give you a well finished product. We're going back into the eventing space, trying to curate nice events in the more in the house and Afro scene. It's just, and then also the label. We've got the label going still. The label's never died out. We've always maintained the label to bring in new talent, and then give them the space to platforms to release. And you know, we never take ownership of the music. We never own the masters. We more about we'll play a distribution role. We'll even do the post-production and polish your work in the sense of mixing and mastering, and you just release under us. And when it's time to, relinquish, the work is yours. The masters belong to you.
Kudos to you guys, man.
Yeah, it's always been the thing, because even back in those days, we've always, no major has owned our masters. Never.
Nice.
From the beginning.
What about that Kalawa deal?
That was a JV
Okay.
licensing deal.
Oh,
They don't own the masters. That project wasn't even done. It wasn't done at Kalawa.
oh, all right.
We just basically we did the project. We did the mastering. We approached Kalawa because we felt they had a good network, and really grateful for that time, because it opened up a lot.
It just puts your foot in.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah, and you learn a lot as well. And we've always maintained it since. I mean, from the beginning, we've never ever had to use a major label's studios. We've never ever had to. We always had the approach of self-sustainability, and I think this is important thing that we need to teach this new generation.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, try and work. I'm sure the majors are going to cut my throat for this or whatever, but try and work on a deal that's going to favor you and favor the major in a win-win, be it an exclusive that ends after a certain period of time.
But we all have to eat, right? So there has to be fairness into it.
There has to be fairness into it, right? Give the majors maybe the exclusivity, but give it a time frame so that you can get your masters back.
Yeah.
That's important.
But the onus is on you, because the majors are not going to try and advise
Of
you.
course
No,
It's a
they won't,
business that
because
they
they've
run.
also got a business to run.
Yeah.
And they've got I don't know what the numbers of people they employ, but it's it's capitalism.
Keep the overheads.
They've got to keep the overheads. They've got to keep the people employed and stuff. So they've got to find models that work for them, but also the youngsters have to be educated on the fact of listen, it's not only about you want to get out there. You out there. What happens afterwards? So rather find something that's flexible, that on the afterwards you still own your stuff, because there is always an afterwards. There's never ever forever.
And the end. Yeah.
There's always a start and an end, and unfortunately in the music industry, the start and the end to you being in the limelight is very short.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happens after that is you still have to
You have to-
ownership of your
yeah,
stuff, or
yeah.
else,
You're never gonna survive.
it's
You're
important.
not
I
gonna-
mean, there's lots of examples that of people that have they've had ownership of masters of other artists, and they've relinquished it. You can't own that forever.
And that's what's happening now, right, with a lot of these guys, because they realize that you can't own it forever.
No.
The person that created it has to own it.
Yeah.
You're the creator,
Exactly. And back in those, way back, even before our time, there was no space for that, because the studios were expensive, the equipment you used were expensive, the marketing was expensive, the reach to get overseas or whatever it
Needs money.
it was you needed someone else to carry you there, and then they own their own. So the business model of music of the yesteryear it's changed now. So it's important that the creators own their masters.
Because the world has become smaller anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, there are still people who surrender their masters. They don't know that they're surrendering their masters, and you have to eventually buy those masters back, depending on what you've signed. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, that's another big topic on its own.
On
It
its
can
own,
take
right? Yeah.
forever.
Cisco, I've said this to your face before. You're a legend that's not celebrated enough.
Thanks, man.
Your story is one of the most amazing I've heard, I've experienced. I think your contribution has to be known by the younger generation.
Yeah.
It's known by the OGs, your waxes of the world, not us, the new generation. But look, I think your story is needs to be celebrated, needs to be known by quite a lot of people. You're an OG. I'm super proud to call you
Thanks,
a friend.
man.
But also, I'm also inspired by your business IQ and what you managed to start from nothing and to forming a big conglomerate that you have now. And it's a big conglomerate. It puts Pretoria in the map and says, guys, we came, we saw, we conquered. you
Yeah.
know? And I'm super proud of you for
Still
that,
more
man.
to come. I'd
Still
say.
more to come. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Before you say your goodbyes, you know, I don't want to have to answer this on the comment section. Our top 5, you know, we usually ask what would be your top 5 favorite DJs or your top 5 favorite producers. So I think in your case, maybe we can just say your top 5 favorite artists, whether they produce or DJ. Just
Yo.
you want it to be current.
Current.
Nah, that's, I mean, his story spanned decades, so I'd love to know from back then to now.
Yo. Yes, there's so many, man.
In no
Like,
particular order.
In no particular order, yeah.
everything just plays so much. Music just plays every day is just a different like role of music that plays, and who was behind that music that played that role in your life. You know,
It does not
I'll
even
start
have
with
to
the
be.
most obvious because
Yeah.
you know of my relation with him, and he's still a huge inspiration to me from knowing where we started and where he is now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Nutty, Black Coffee.
Black Coffee, yeah.
You know, he's an inspiration to many.
Yeah.
And if you can see where he's come from and what he's done, he's just a complete, and
He's a monster.
you know, like I said, I've got imposter syndrome. But like, what sobers me is when I see what Black Coffee's done, and like, you know, geez, you know, where he started and where he is. That's number one. Well, not number one. I'm not doing it in any
In
particular.
any order, yeah.
Frankie Knuckles.
Oof.
Rest God rest his soul.
But
So alive or
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Live, dead, whatever.
yeah, Frankie Knuckles. Just he's like what he did to the scene. You
To
know,
a
he was the
culture.
godfather. He was
Yeah.
one of the forefathers of this industry we love. Larry Levine. A lot of people wouldn't really know him, but what he did for club culture.
Oh man.
Obviously, yeah, there's so many, man. You know,
You've got 2 more.
I wanted to say Art Jones, but we've already spoken about Art Jones
Okay.
and what he, you know, everyone knows. So let's move. Man, because like if I want to mention so many of the local legends, but I can't mention one without the other because they all played a role.
Rasta wants
So-
the 2 more.
Oh man, yeah. Where have I at? You said I
You've
mentioned
done
2.
3. So you've...
Who's 3? Oh, Larry
you've-
Levine. Yeah.
Larry Levine.
Frankie Knuckles and
Black
DJ
Coffee.
Black Coffee.
Yeah. Just because the roles I played in my African.
In the shaping of your career.
Man, no, because now
We can leave it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we
happy
can-
with the 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can leave it there, man.
We'll leave
Oh,
it.
because-
Maybe you can text us after and say, hey guys, yeah, I just remembered.
oh wait, I can mention
Yeah,
that incorporates all of them.
yeah.
The DJU,
DJU. Wow.
Ah, the whole crew.
Dope.
Nice one.
Especially
because
for what they stand
played,
for,
they
right?
played a very big role. Each one of them.
Shout outs to the DJU, man. DJU, for those that don't know, it's Christos, Vinita Vinci, Greg Maluka, DJ Fresh,
Oskido.
And
and
Oskido.
Oskido.
Yeah.
So he said it, not me, eh?
Yeah.
So I got one more.
One more, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, I mean that's it, Brian. I'm happy with that.
Are you happy?
Yeah. we
I
can-
feel like he wants to mention one more.
No, yeah, you're putting me on the spot because like each
Nah,
one,
that's fine.
there
I
was each
understand, yeah.
influence of
Yeah.
artists, and you know there was. I mean, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, even currently now, the gents that are with me in Multiracial, like part of us. I mean, they play a big role, like in every inspiration that's happening now. So like, I could carry on for days because everyone inspires me that I cross paths with. You know, regardless of who it is, you inspired me. Like, man, you know that one night. Hey, that one night,
That's dope,
you
man.
know, you were there, and like, you know, that inspired me. Like that night, you being there, like, you know, yeah, we were friends and stuff, but you were there.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Nice. Nice.
until like 4 o'clock when I came home, bro.
Yeah, I
Man, yeah.
that's
You
yeah.
can tell the story if you want.
Yeah, look, we'll tell it another time.
Another
you know?
day.
Yeah, another day. But I think one love, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in for Heads and Tails. The legendary, the one, the only good
Sisco
friend.
Umlambo.
Cisco
Much love,
Umlambo
man. Much love.
in the building.
Thanks, gents. Sweet.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you, everyone. Please
Sweet.
keep sending those comments. Please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends. We appreciate all the love and we appreciate all the comments you guys are
The
making
merch
us.
is out.
Yeah, we've got our merch out. If you want a hoodie, you want a sweater, you want a golf shirt, you want a t-shirt, you want a hat, you want a cap, we've got all of those. You can hit us up and we'll deliver.
Danko.
Danko. And cut.
Thanks, gents.
Whoa. Batteries are out.